Hello, and let me welcome you back to this program on addiction and recovery. We have been speaking about the Fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous, the what one can expect if they decided to go to a meeting, because there have been a lot of misconceptions. As I've said before, a lot of people think that you have to go there and talk about your business, and they believe it is for old people. Yes, the fact is that alcoholism, the mean age for alcoholism is 35, while the mean age for cocaine addiction in Trinidad and Tobago is 17 years. So that a lot of young people seem to think that, look, they don't have a problem with alcohol. They usually think that is a problem really for old people. That is not so. So that um, we know now, science has established there's a genetic predisposition. So there isn't an age limit. A person can be born with that genetic predisposition to alcoholism and drug addiction, so that it is not restricted to any age. Now, the, in the AA meeting, people share their experience. That is how they started to drink or use drugs, and what are some of the things happened with them. But they also share their strengths. What, since they have stopped drinking, what are some of the good things that have been happening? They speak about, their health, recovering from health issues. Initially, once you stop drinking, within days, a lot of health conditions like insomnia will begin to subside, because alcohol being a sedative, a lot of people have been using it to help them to sleep. Now, during the break, you would have heard about the use of acupuncture. Acupuncture has been successfully used to treat with all the withdrawal symptoms that a person may have in the initial stages of recovery. But eventually, all of these will settle down. The depression, the anxiety, the irritability, the insomnia, all of those will settle down as the body begins to recover. And then a lot of members, they realize that, look, now they are having less confrontations with their family members. They are able to go to the job, stay on the job, and they are able to start meeting their financial commitments, paying their rent, actually saving some money. And these would be the strengths that they describe. But there's also the 12-step program that would eventually become the foundation on which a sober life is built. That is, so that a person at first admits that they have a problem and accepts that they have a problem, so that there's no reservations, there's no going back. There's a firm declaration. The person do not have to, to query in their mind whether they're alcoholic or not. And they are introduced to a higher power, God of their understanding, in the group that they belong, in addition to starting to find support from the members of their group, from the members of the fellowship, so that if they have an urge, there's a lot of, the initial stage of recovery could be a very bumpy road, because whereas a person would have escaped into drinking and using drugs to deal with the problems in the past, now they have to deal with it on a sober head. So um, that takes some learning how to do, so that in the program, they are able to, the program itself, the 12 steps, step 4 and 5, for instance, helps the person to realize their strengths and what were their basic weaknesses in the past. Now, that is something as a professional, and most professionals in the helping profession, they have a responsibility to develop what is called a treatment plan for their clients. And in order to develop a successful and effective treatment plan, you have to establish the person's strengths and weaknesses. What are the assets that they bring that they have, and what are their liabilities? What are those things that cause them to go back to drink? So they learn what are their triggers. They also learn from going to the meeting from members who might have relapsed. Even while they were coming to meeting, these people come back and they talk about, some of the misconceptions they had because they were unable to get along with some other member, or they did not like something, or they had a quarrel at home and they went back to drink. So they are able to become aware of what are some of the triggers, their booby traps to recovery from listening. These will become their strengths. The program of recovery itself, the 12 steps, helps the person to mend their relationships, to continue to take an inventory. They are introduced to introspection of themselves, you know, and they are introduced to a new support system. They are introduced to things like meditation. In the meeting, by speaking, they are facilitated to have what is called cathartic ventilation. And that is very, very important in a therapeutic environment. You know, put it in lay terms, if you have a problem and you speak to someone, you ventilate it, you are able, you feel a sense of relief. And that is what happens when a person is speaking in an AA meeting, when they are speaking about their experiences. This would eventually become their strength. And of course, a lot of people are able to express their hope. That is, they had their earlier ambitions in life. Some people wanted to be doctors, some lawyers, some professionals, some were actually able, like I can say for myself, I always wanted to do medicine. I was not able to because of my drinking. But when I stopped in 1983, I went back to school, I went back to university, and the sky has been the limit. Today I'm busily involved in complementary medicine. I'm an acupuncturist, and readily accept invitations from groups, organizations, and to do lectures. I used to be a resource person with the Caribbean Institute on Alcoholism and Drug Addiction. I also was former director of the Piparo Empowerment Center. I have lectured at the university in the Substance Abuse Prevention and Treatment Program. And so the sky has been the limit. And now I'm doing this program. I've been doing this program for the last 31 years on various media houses. And with this particular radio and television station, almost since the very inception. So that would be the hope. It's a bright future for anyone who has a problem and who comes to the fellowship. Now, there's a lot of people who would like to do this on their own, and hats off to them. I've seen a few people are able to do this after some serious accident, or health problem, or legal problem, and they decide, okay, I have to stop. And they do. Some do it after they've had bouts of imprisonment and so on, or hospitalization. But for the majority are not able to do this alone. They would make every effort and they would fail. And when you have failed so many times, you lose the passion, you lose the motivation to even attempt it again because you don't want to go through that feeling of failure. So that is what the most important thing for the alcoholic who is practicing is that he does not lose hope. And that is what this program is about. It is about giving people hope that there is a solution. Anyone listening out there, it doesn't matter how far you've gone. I have seen people come for treatment, go to AA, who were basically street dwellers, who had reached to vagrancy, who had lost everything. And today you would be surprised, you would be amazed to see who these people are, where they have reached in their life today. So that is the hope that they share with each other. And the whole reason for doing all of that is to help each other to stay sober because they have a common problem, alcoholism or drug addiction. As I said earlier on, the only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. Yes, so if you went to an AA meeting, you will see at the end of the meeting that they pass what the common saying, they pass the hat. When some groups it is a basket, it is some other container that they pass, and people put in a contribution, money. Some people may put $1, some $5, you know, whatever one can afford. The new man is not always asked to put, it is if he can afford it. Nobody sees how much you put in the basket, and it doesn't really matter. And the reason for that is that each group must be self-supporting financially. That is, they must decline outside contributions. That is one of the traditions of AA. They can't accept money from outside because the group provides literature, pamphlets like the one I'm reading from. They provide coffee and sandwiches because a lot of people who come there for the first time, if the person was a street dweller, they may not have had something to eat for the entire day. So they have a sandwich and they serve coffee from traditionally because AA started in America, in the United States, and it is a habit there to take coffee because the place is cold and coffee is a stimulant. And if a person had been drinking sometime, coffee is able to stabilize them from the shakes and all of those things. So, but again, it's up to the individual. If you are a coffee drinker or not, you don't have to drink coffee. Some groups serve tea, they serve Milo, they serve juices, serve soft drinks and so on to go with your sandwich. And so that no one is required to pay any dues or fees for AA membership. If a person contribute in the hat, they put the money there. Now, if there's extra money, the group may take that extra money and give it to Alcoholics Anonymous has a structure in Trinidad and Tobago and worldwide where they have groups, then you have what you call intergroups, and then you have the board that administers to all the intergroups and the groups. So that excess money, the group will decide how much they want to give to the intergroup or to the general service board. And I know a lot of groups make a contribution to the schools that they occupy. I know that a group in my community here does give money to the Felicity in the school every year to help them with their treats and the light bills and so on. So that is what the money is used for, because they are supposed to be self-supporting. As such, AA is not allied with any groups. They don't be part of any other organization, a branch of any other organization, but they may work together. You know, they may so they have nothing to do with any religion. They're not part of any religious sect or denomination. They're not a political organization. They don't support this party or that party. They have no opinion on these public issues. They do not engage they do not endorse or oppose these public issues, so that the whole reason is so that they will not have to become involved or mired in any kind of controversy that AA is a Hindu organization or a Christian organization. But groups I have known who, the group might choose to use a prayer if they wish. I know some groups use the Lord's Prayer, but generally there's a prayer that is universal. And that is, most people who are not even alcoholics, they use it. And that prayer is, God grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and wisdom to know the difference. That's the prayer that most groups use at the beginning of their meetings and at the end of their meetings. So that any religion, any person of any religious persuasion can go to AA. It's not a religious program, although it might be held in a Hindu school. In my community, we have meetings in the Hindu school, we have meetings in the Presbyterian school, and it has nothing to do with the religion. A lot of members will tell you it's a spiritual program, not a religious program. And the primary purpose of the fellowship is to help its members to stay sober. AA does not undertake to go and bring back your wife if you were estranged from her, does not give any commitment to get you a job or help you financially. No, no, no. It's none of those things. So that it must be very clear when you go to an AA meeting, you are going there because you have a problem with alcohol, or you're going to an AA meeting because you have a problem with other drugs, and and you are going there for that reason. Of course, if you stop drinking and stop using drugs, you will be able to save your money and save yourself and maybe reunite with your family and all of that. And yes, members of the group may sometimes become supportive, and if a member on their own wish to help you, they're quite welcome to do so. But that is an individual decision. That's not a decision of the fellowship. Members do go and help each other. You have members who are tradesmen in the fellowship, mechanics and straighteners, and you name it, and they would help other members. They may not do the job, fix your car for free, but they will probably be a little more considerate and less expensive. You know, they will help you out. They are quite willing to give advice to younger members, especially on matters relating to alcoholism and drug addiction. Members are always willing. And as a result of that, there's a sponsorship program where new people could choose someone who has been there for a while as a sponsor. And groups provide that service where they have people who have been there for a long time, who have a lot of years of experience in recovery, and they offer themselves as sponsors to new people. You can choose a sponsor as a temporary sponsor until you want to decide exactly who you would like to be a sponsor, because your sponsor is like a guru. Sponsor is a confidant. A sponsor is a person that you would want to be. You feel free to speak about any issue that is bothering you, causing you concern, and that might cause you to relapse. So you need someone, you know, who can keep confidences, who is experienced, and who has demonstrated that they are really practicing the program. They're not just talking it, especially if it's somebody that you know personally, you know. But a lot of older members would suggest that, look, you pray about it and you observe the person, and make sure that they are on the program so that they could guide you. That is the kind of sponsorship that AA provides for its members. So we are very fortunate that in Trinidad and Tobago, we have over 124 AA groups scattered all over Trinidad and Tobago. And now we have online meetings as well, where I'm seeing where a lot of women and so on who felt very uncomfortable to go to these predominantly male inhabited groups. Now they are coming on the online meeting where they can stay in the comfort and security of their home, and they can join the meeting. And if anyone is interested in joining an online meeting, they can call me after the program. I'd be only too happy to share information with you, because we have meetings every night in Trinidad and Tobago online. And I have attended some of those meetings, and I've noticed a lot of young people, men and women, are attending those meetings, and they are staying sober. The online meetings are proving to be very, very successful. So it is a very viable option. A lot of people I know are going to the physical meetings because that is important. The physical meetings afford the kind of close intimacy that AA has been known for, where you can meet and shake hands with people and sit and talk with them in an informal environment. The online meeting also have its advantages in that you can stay home. You don't have to face the insecurity of crime and all of that, and doing the expense of having to travel to a meeting and come back late, or sit with other people that you may not be comfortable with. So the online meeting has its advantage as well as the physical meeting, and they are both available. Anyone interested in going to an AA meeting, you can contact me and I will give you the information. I have a list. There are pamphlets that are published by the intergroups and the board that has all the meeting places listed in Trinidad and Tobago. There are meetings every night in several parts of Trinidad and Tobago, physical meetings, and you can get the times and the addresses of these meetings and even contact numbers for members of those groups. And as I said, there's online meetings, not only in Trinidad, worldwide now, in England, in the United States, in Australia, South Africa, you name it. There are online meetings that one can access if they wish to. So I want to thank all of you who have been listening. I know we had a little interruption in the middle of the program and we had to reboot again. But if anyone has any questions, comments, you can call me at 671-3040 after the program, and I'll be happy to respond to you. So until next week, Thursday, let me say goodbye and thank you to the team at the back, Francis and all those people who have been sourcing these very valuable videos. I want to thank the executive of the Mahasabha for allowing us free radio time on this media, radio and television time, which is very expensive, as a public service to our community, the entire Caribbean and the world, because this program is listened to and viewed worldwide. I want to thank you again until next week, Thursday, when we'll meet again to talk about addiction and recovery and any questions you might have. During the week, you can send me any questions if you have, and I will respond to them on the program on Thursdays, because I know some people have difficulty getting onto the program. So thank you again, and the program will be posted on Facebook and YouTube in a short while. You may be able to access it there. Thank you, Sitaram, and good morning.